Let's see, we got a double batch here, so we got 4 parts sand, 2 parts good soaked clay, coarse wood shavings, and Adam over here is going to finish up the mix with a bucket of soaked hydraulic lime putty. And we put this in to make the mixture a little bit harder. It also helps to resist mold. And it has good binding capacity. So make sure if you're using lime, guys, you use the right kind. Don't use agricultural lime. That's just for making soil more alkaline. Make sure that you use hydraulic or type S lime. Yeah. Good job. Yep, so this is the final step. Although, guys, I will say I think this could use a lot more coarse shavings in it. Okay. Yeah, definitely you got to love. Fiber, people, is really important. Fiber, you need fiber. Okay, you got to have... It's one of the biggest mistakes people make when making plaster is not to incorporate enough fiber. Yeah? So go ahead. We're gonna... So we use coarse wood shavings. We get these from free from the local carpenters. It's really easy. I know all y'all people in northern climates are like, I use straw. Okay, well, do you guys look around? I'm in a completely subtropical zone here. Nothing dries here ever. So we don't have access to straw. So we use these coarse wood shavings instead. And they work really great. So, you know, if you're in an area in the north where you don't happen to not have straw, feel free to get some coarse wood shavings from your carpenter. You can just sweep them up from the floor and they work fine too. Okay guys, so what we're doing today is we're putting a finished coat of plaster on this wall. This is an earthbag wall. It's already got one rough coat of plaster on it, and these guys did a really good job plumbing it out and making it fairly even. So over here we've got our plaster, and I showed you guys how to make this in the last part. It's a very simple mixture of clay. 1 part clay, 2 parts sand, 1 part hydrated lime, and some wood shavings to give it some good consistency, and that also makes it nice and strong. So when you're doing your finished coat, the first thing you want to do is just fill in little gaps and little holes. So you take like a nice sideways glance at your wall, and here we've got like a little gap, so you just want to fill that in, yeah? Okay, now this is the good technique for plastering. Just take a handful. You know, you don't have to mess around with it too much. And what you want to do is you want to use your hand just like a trowel, push it into the wall, and then slide upwards. That's it. Don't rub it around, because then what you end up doing is actually taking the plaster off the wall, okay? So it's just a very simple technique of just grabbing a handful, kind of like smacking it a little bit into the wall, and then moving upwards, okay? The first time I tried this, it was really discouraging because I showed up at this workshop and everybody else was kind of experienced with plastering, and I didn't know what to do. And the mistake I was making that I think a lot of novice plasterers will make is just not putting enough material in your hand, because you're kind of like tentative, you know, and you don't want to waste it. So you take like this little bit and you're like rubbing it onto the wall, and see, look, that doesn't work at all. It just falls off. So there was this really nice woman, I'll never forget, her name was Janelle, and she had just had a baby, and she had her baby with her on her back, and she was there, and she said, here, I mean, she was super generous and really nice, and she just said, here, just take a big handful and just smack it into the wall and just go up like that. And I'll never forget that lesson, because she was just really generous with her knowledge and just showed me how to do it just like that. Now, the other way that you can do it, some people are more comfortable with their hands, some people are more comfortable with tools. So this is a flat metal trowel, and if you're going to trowel plaster, you can take a little bit of a bigger amount, and you can put it right here on the trowel, like that, and then you're doing the same thing. You want to make sure that you smush it into the wall. Hold it there for a second, because what's happening is the clay in the plaster is sticking to the clay that's already on the wall. There's a molecular attraction there. You want to let it just kind of like grip there for a second. And then just make a nice smooth slide up. Yeah? So let's do that one more time. Put a good amount of plaster on your trowel. Push it into the wall. And slide up. It's up to you if you want to work horizontally. Go all the way across. Or, you know, if you've got a partner working behind you and you don't want to, you know, crash butts. You can just work on one section at a time. And then what you want to do is you want to connect plaster to plaster. So I'm not going to start up here. I'm going to start down here where I've already got a coat of plaster. Push it into the wall. And up you go. Yeah, there was a rock in there, and that's why that batch didn't stick too well. So you want to try to get as many rocks out of your plaster as possible. And then you just keep going. So it's completely up to you when you're plastering if you want to work with it with your hands or with a trowel. You can cover a little bit more distance with a trowel, but some people are more comfortable with their hands and some people are more comfortable with a tool. So just go ahead and find what works for you. Okay? Yeah, okay, and here we are finishing up. So if any of this looks fun and interesting to you and you want to come down and learn how to build with natural materials or farm permaculture style, harvest cacao, come on down. We've got apprenticeship programs. We're on Workaway. We have special learning opportunities, sustainability courses, and you can also just come down and stay and relax and go on some interesting excursions nearby. And if you find these materials educational and helpful for your own off-grid endeavors, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube at Kristen Crash on YouTube. Check us out at www.sdvforest.com. That's www.sdvforest.com, or check out Sueño de Vida on Patreon. And our Patreons get exclusive videos and also free cacao perks throughout the year.